Triggered feminists are having a meltdown over the future.
I don't think there are any risks to eating animal foods exclusively.
And you are a psychiatrist, am I correct?
Right, I did a residency in psychiatry.
So what do you know about nutrition?
Where
did you gain your background in nutrition?
Listen, this is, I think...
No, you listen to me and answer my question. Now I'm asking you to tell us where your background emanates from.
I went to medical school, and I studied nutrition in medical school, and I studied nutrition independently. One of the crazy things about medical school is that it teaches you how to read articles.
The bottom line is you practice psychiatry, am I correct?
I practice medicine.
And they say that men mensplain. That is womansplaining to the max. My friend Brianna responded and said, a typical feminist, angry, unhealthy, unable to hold a respectful conversation, dominates, yells over everyone, asks a question, and then doesn't let you answer. Yeah, because they don't like to be in the wrong. JP Sears said, this lady seems very happy and a good person to take health advice from. Oh yeah, just like Rachel Levine.
The whole idea of strong and independent women is based on an extreme level of feminism that promotes male oppression, and women take over control of their entire lives, in an act of revenge against all the women who have been oppressed by men throughout history. It doesn't make sense, and it has far-reaching negative consequences for the idea of a family, which is on the decline in the Western world.
What is, in your mind, society's vision of like the perfect man, right? Like, what does that look like today in today's society?
It's a good question, because I think today's society, we have a lot of like femme-centric systems, whether it's like the education system, the judiciary system, they're all femme-centered. So
what does that mean, femme-centered?
It means that it's women who are raising men or like teaching boys. So you have more female teachers in schools, and they say to boys, it's okay to cry, it's okay to this. You know, they're not teaching them mental resilience and how to become a strong man, how to become a strong adult. You know, the judiciary system, if a man and a woman are together, they're married, and you know, say she cheats or whatever it is, they get divorced, she gets half his money and the kids. You know, it's very femme-centric. And so it's the woman that's in charge. We keep talking about like, you know, the patriarchy. The patriarchy's dead. We live in a matriarchy whereby men, I think, get the brunt of everything. I don't think even marriage is a good deal for men either.
Why not?
For what I just said, because of the judiciary system. Because
like basically in the downside case, the men get screwed.
Exactly. Whereas a woman is always going to be safe. And also we have to consider how men and women are viewed in society. Again, we talk about this so-called patriarchy, but it's women who are valued more than men. We want equality, but like, what does equality even mean? I think women are intrinsically valued on a higher level to men, because it's the women and the children that are always protected first. It's the men that are sent off to war. It's the men that are more disposable. As a man, like I said, you have to become, and a woman can just be. So it's like society doesn't care about you until you become something. And nobody wants to talk about that. And I think we should talk about it. The reason we should talk about it is because I think the dynamics between men and women would just be better. Like, I think that with healthy masculinity, femininity can thrive in that kind of space. And if we stop men from being masculine and we stop women from being feminine, the genders just melt into each other, and it becomes a mess, and there's a lot of toxicity. And so nobody wants to talk about the fact that men are disposable in this world.
Fact is, women do need men. Most of them realize that too late when they're past the wall, hitting their mid-40s, and realizing they're missing a big chunk of life.
Holy shit, you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Could this year get any worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021!
Off to people that are pro-life. I fucking hate you. Why can't women have abortions? I just saw a pro-life sign driving down the road having a mental breakdown, and I was trying to say, all you people you're so fucking stupid.
I get it. I don't like the two-party system. I think our country's corrupt, and quite frankly, I don't want to vote for Biden. It feels like voting for a Republican. But I'm gonna do it! You wanna know why?
Why?
Because the alternative is a fascist! A fascist is a fascist! Maybe we can have the conversation about dismantling the two-party system when a fascist isn't running. Maybe we can do that later, kiddo. Champ, chief, maybe we can talk about it later.
I could feel pain before I was born. It's a baby. Bitch, I was born and I can feel pain. I wish I wasn't born. You're stupid. And I wish I had been aborted.
I have not felt this amount of sinking despair since November of 2016.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President for the what a great honor to be able to introduce for the first.
Seriously?
Phooey. I have never seen bleeping like that.
I was violently, physically ill the day after the election.
Why? I said why? Loud noises!
I'm honestly shaken to the core with fear.
What have you done, Derek? Nothing! You've done nothing! I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
Today, the fragile society we live in has given women a false sense of superiority. If for whatever reason we are faced with a real threat, their roles would be reduced greatly, and not all men are nice to weak women when push comes to shove.
She gets up and she says, Patrick, this is very hard for me to say this. And let me tell you why it's very hard. I said, what's that? She says, ever since in high school, I wanted to prove to men that I can beat them. So when I graduated high school and college, I opened up my salon. We do very well. I've made millions of dollars. My people and my work that work at the salon, they do very well for themselves. I drive a nice car, I have a nice house, I have money, I have millions. I don't worry about any of that stuff. You know what decision I made last night? I said, what's that? She says, I want a husband. I no longer want to compete with men. I need them. And I'm like, what? She's saying this in front of 2,000 people with her sister sitting right next to her. Wow. And now she's getting emotional. How many 65-year-old women do we have to hear saying that I marched with the feminist movement and I bought into the fact that men are the enemy? I've never been married. I'm alone and I'm miserable and I wish I would have never bought into that philosophy.
It would be nice to have a grown discussion with the opposite gender about the issues nowadays, but most women will not bend their knees due to the amount of pressure they are under trying to keep up with the Jones. We are too far apart to have any type of dialogue, let alone a good laugh at a comedy show with feminists in the audience. I love how all these women call themselves and their feminist coven courageous. How? How are they courageous? They marched down the streets in mass groups screaming and chanting. They said, I want. A 30-year millionaire guy would happily marry and provide for a 22-year-old girl who doesn't have a college degree or make money, but can cook, clean, and is loyal. A 30-year millionaire boss babe would never marry and provide for a guy who doesn't make money but can cook, clean, and is loyal. Girls who make money still expect the guy to make more money than her and to provide for her. It's like an 11-year-old making money during summer. They want to save that up to spend on themselves while expecting parents to provide for basic necessities. Homemade food and an attentive parent throughout childhood are essential for a child's well-being. You can never form a partnership with a boss babe without having your child miss out on important things in their lives. Feminism has really made it impossible for women to grasp these ideas because it constantly bombards women with this thought that they need to be independent and that they don't need any men in their lives. Feminism uses popular culture such as movies, television series, documentaries, talk shows, the news, books, music, comic books, podcasts, social media, and social media influencers to perpetuate this thought that a woman who spends her prime years laboring in offices and building wealth are real women, and that they're the women every other woman should follow the example of. Today, men have been influenced by women speaking through movies, books, and TV shows, where the only guys they seem to like are the nice guys who are not masculine at all, and basically are guys that every woman in the real world will friend zone. Guys need to understand the true nature of women, and need to understand that what women say versus what women really feel are completely different things, and it will always be like that, no matter the year and no matter the country. They need to work on themselves, develop interesting habits, build a strong physique, and become better at dating women. However, women also need to lower their expectations because they just seem to expect everything from a guy. I don't even know if what is currently happening here is intentional, but it is an exploitation of the male nature. A man naturally wants to protect women, he wants to be of service, he wants to be loyal, and he wants to do what's right. But women condition guys to believe that what they're doing, they absolutely have to do for women because that's their birthright. Every time he disobeys your orders or ceases to be your servant, you can simply accuse him of disregarding that particular aspect of what it means to be a man, and he will comply. Men are expected to do everything while women only complain. They point out men's negative sides and tell them they need to do better. And if they end up in a divorce, he is the one who has to pay for everything and probably pay her a salary for the rest of his living days. Does that sound fair to men? I don't blame men for going their own way. Men are protecting themselves from the drama and a loss of their resources and sense of self-esteem and integrity. The worst part is that society will continue to do this to men. It will continue to subjugate them. Going back a few years, you would come across men being in the background and basically trying to protect themselves from women and the risk of being with women and the associated consequences such as divorce, or having their life savings taken away from them, or having their children taken away from them. These are men who had gone their own way, and they were afraid to come out and declare it because they knew society would just alienate them. Other men would laugh at them, and they would be in the crosshairs to be ridiculed for their self-preserving philosophy. And this is also true for the 10 or 20% of men that women usually want and go after. But things have changed over the years. Men are no longer shying away from telling the world that they've had enough, seen enough, and experienced enough to know that they just don't want to pursue women anymore. They're a whole lot better off without them. They're going their own way. They're going to live their life their own way, build their skills, pursue their long-standing habits, and live a normal life, just without being committed to women. And it's not like they hate women or anything. They just don't want to be in a relationship with women because they're just not okay with all the drama that comes after marriage, or how the system works against them if they get divorced. It's always the feminists who take offense at literally everything and make it personal when everybody else is having a good time and a good laugh. And so that's what happened at this stand-up comedy show after the comedian made the entire audience laugh at the end of his show. The cameraman spotted a woman visibly offended at the jokes, booing the comedian and giving him the middle finger with both hands. Kudos to the man in the beard who had the last laugh though. I mean, what did the woman expect at the show? Knock-knock jokes? Or your mama jokes? Her reaction typically reflects the reactions and entire personalities of feminists. Women have always gone after men who had more money than they do. That's human history. Now they, being strong, independent feminists, also only want a man who has more money. Isn't there some kind of peak in their thinking? They're using the same thinking as all women before them in history. It really is only about money, so they want to have the richer guys, which are what women always wanted. How is that feminist? It's the same old, same old. I wonder how many great guys have been discarded because the woman reached that enlightened stage where she wanted what every woman in history has wanted. And now, being near the end of their reproductive cycle, they find going it alone, not being everything it's cracked up to be. Isn't that weird? What happens is that when these women reach the age of 40, they realize they're already past their biological clocks and will probably not be having children anymore. With this, they keep repeating the same mantra that they don't need any men in their lives. But as the years go by, they start to realize they really don't have any purpose in life. And the companies they'd been laboring away for don't really care about them because they can fire or lay off these women at any given time. The biggest example of this is the recent tech layoffs that we say in the United States, and then consequently the rest of the world. And so, it's only then when they know they cannot go back in time and do this over again, they realize how they'd wasted away their lives solely concentrating on money, building wealth, investing, and chasing corporate ladders. They realize all the money they have now in their bank accounts, they don't even have anyone to spend that money on. They don't know what to do with their investment, except perhaps make more and earn more. They don't have any children to pass it on. They don't have any children to pass on their knowledge, wisdom, and all the things they learned in life. The only thing they did in their lives was live to make money. And sure, that's something they did. But then what? Thousands of other people do that as well. When those people die, they're forgotten in a matter of days and months. They don't even have anyone to visit their graves. They're literally forgotten. Even the companies they worked for all of their lives replace them within a month or two. Sure, they might have co-workers and friends, but all of them are busy living and making memories with their partners and children. So, modern women around the world must realize that life's not just about making money, generating wealth, starting businesses, and climbing the corporate ladder. Because women have the leverage of not doing any of that and still live the best lives with their partners who are happy to be providers, and even happier when they have wives who give birth to beautiful children, and together, they raise their families. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.